Welcome out. Welcome out. Liv and Terry show. I don't even know what the date is. I think it's, what's today? 4/30/2026. It's almost May. It's almost May, people. I feel like just 2 seconds ago, it was January. It's almost May. So I haven't felt at ease for a long time now. We're in super busy mode, as you guys know. Last week I did have 14 events on Saturday, followed by this weekend I have 10 in May alone. In May alone, we're going to do 50 events in May alone. June's going to be half that, just because we pretty much stop working after like the third week of June. And then we have a couple in July, and whatever, stragglers pop up. But then we go dark for a month, which I'm very excited for in July. And then we're right back at it. Right back at it. It is... You can't be angry at... I was just talking to my partner about this. You can't really be angry about manifesting what you wanted. I'm not sick. I just woke up. Just let me be, man. Just let me be. I had a long night. I had to do a montage, which we'll talk about in a minute. I had to do a montage for a client, which we do montages. We build them. But it was a lot. It was a lot. So for the last 3 days, I've been knocking that out. So my voice will warm up as it goes. But yeah, I just got a bit like, okay, I guess I should go do my show. But what was I saying? So I can't really be mad at like manifesting what you wanted. We wanted to have this many events. We wanted to do all the production and all the AV and everything. We wanted to do all this. We just didn't think that it would be so much so soon. I guess that's the thing. So much so soon. We are in severe growing pains because of the production and just because of the events, like I said. But I'm not complaining. I want people to understand this. This isn't a complaint. This is just a realization of what it is that we strive to do. So, I'm tired. I'm tired. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. And it just keeps getting worse. I mean, like in May, first off, I'm in Arizona tomorrow. I'm in Arizona. Is that tomorrow, Friday? Yeah. So I fly to Arizona. I have an event on Saturday. So I'm flying out on Friday. But in the meantime, I'm in Arizona. I got two clients, two crews going up to the Bay. I have our local ones, obviously. And then the following week is extreme. I have another 10 parties, but 4 of them have like major production pieces in them. I have, and we'll talk about why it's drama. I have an LED, 2 LED walls, an LED floor, and we're doing outside lighting at a golf club for a mitzvah. None of that is out of the ordinary. Okay, that's sometimes a standard Saturday. However, we're at some museum for one of the walls, and they're like, "Oh, well, you can't get there until you can't set up until 4 o'clock." I'm like, "Okay, well, what time's the party start?" "Oh, cocktails at 6." And I said, "I don't." And I said, "Well, is there at least a different cocktail room?" "No, everybody's in the same room. Cocktail, because it's like the museum. It's like a car museum." And I said, "Well, 2 hours isn't enough. 2 hours is not enough to build the wall. That's like precision builds. And if it were like I don't know, like a 7 by 14 or 7 by 15, yeah, we might be able to knock that out. But this is a 10 by 18 foot wall. That's a lot. Anyway, so we're still working that part out because I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. I can't guarantee you we're going to have it up in time. So we need to get there earlier. "Well, they won't really allow you to get there earlier. We have to pay. I'm like, "Well, then pay." Because if you don't pay, then I'm going to have 2 more roadies to help build this wall to get it done in time. Therefore, you're still going to be paying. It doesn't change. So that was one of them. Okay. Limited time setting up. We're still working that out. Then, the one outdoors, that's the lighting install. You can't set up until 4:30 because it's golf course and they don't want you in the way of the golfers. And I said, "I don't understand. Are we in the path? Are we building like the string light, ceiling essentially? Are we building that on the walkway?" "No." "Okay. Well then, so how are we in the path?" "Well, you're going to bring stuff in." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not that much stuff. It's just, we need the time to set up. It's outdoors. Everything's outdoors. We cannot be trying to set up while your people are arriving. That's why we come there at 10 a.m., 12 noon for a 5 o'clock call time. And when I say 5 o'clock call time, I'm talking about the time that the crew arrives, not the time that the production people are there. Production people work all day. We get there like literally my production for the past 3 weeks. I've been getting up at 8 in the morning and then, go make sure we load properly, get everything. That's assuming that Friday we didn't load all the LED walls and all the stuff that Friday beforehand. So on Saturday, yeah, I get up, I go to the studio, make sure they haven't forgotten anything. And then I drive to the venues. Now, I will go to multiple venues that day. Okay. Like if we have production, I will hit all of the places that we have large production to make sure that it's getting done right. So my day starts at 8 in the morning and I'm not done until legitimately 2 or 3 in the morning. Like that's my day. There's no breaks, so it's a lot. There's a lot. Keith just said, "Doesn't the planner explain this to the client?" Do we want to go to this story? Do we want to go to this situation now, this early? Here's the reality. Here's the reality of planners. And we have some great planners that I love. They do a great job. But here's the reality. Planners don't want to tell clients that they have to pay more money. They don't want to do that. They will fight it as much as they can to avoid having to invoice a client more money. A lot of planners don't like to tell clients no. So we end up having to force feed them and then work through it because the first response is, well, let's see if we can do this without talking to a client. And then finally, they do. Hold on. That's better. So needless to say, they are long, long days. And we've been building our production people over the past 6 months now. So now we have a pretty healthy team. We just have to figure out the rest of it. DJs wise, we're good. We could use a couple more DJs. I do have people that are, that DM me like, hey, if you're looking for new people or more people, I can do it. I can do it. And I'm just like, bro, you're too far. Like, I can't hire somebody for LA parties that lives like in San Diego or Temecula, or Chino Hill. I can't, you're too far. As much as I'd love to, and you could be amazing, that's too much risk for anything. The greatest, the farthest person we have lives in essentially Pasadena, Arcadia. We have one other guy that lives farther, but he's like my man since like 20 years ago. And he's always on time, but I can't just count on random people or even people that I kind of know. It's too far. Ernesto, Fontana. I'm not hiring a Fontana DJ to come work in LA. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I'd love to give people work. I really would, but you gotta be closer. You got LA, San Fernando Valley, you gotta be closer. Ventura. So growth can be an issue, like I said before, we did 14. I would have preferred to do 10. 10 is like the number. It's like the sweet spot. So, anyway, so this weekend was tough. It was tough. Fortunately, or you can have that DJ cover the IE area. They don't have parties in the IE, man. I mean, look, I'm not dismissing anybody, and this is going to come off sounding poor, but that's not what my intention is. Okay. My clients, the amounts of money they pay, the stuff they spend on, they ain't living in the IE. Okay. They're not. The only way they're doing anything out there is if they're doing like a destination event. But the reality is, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I had a girlfriend in Fontana once. She didn't start out in Fontana, but then she moved with her parents to Fontana. And I remember what you will drive for, what you will endure for, like, I'm just going to say a relationship is wild. Needless to say, we didn't continue the relationship because that's too damn far. That's too far. It's amazing also what you remember. You know what I remember most? Upland to LA is 40 minutes if you have a fast track. Come on, Keith. I am not running my business on whether or not a DJ has fast track or not. Not doing that. You just got to be closer. It'd be the same thing as if, like, you worked in an office, right? And you were hiring somebody and you're like, hey, okay, our office is in Woodland Hills, California, in San Fernando Valley. And you tell me you're coming from the IE every morning. I'm going to go, no. Not that you can't do it. Not that you're not capable of doing it. But just that I don't want to put you in that, I don't want to put you in that space, where every day you're stressing on whether or not you're going to be able to get there, or I have to work around you. I got to, it's fine. I have to accommodate certain things. I don't want to do that. People all the time, they're like, hey, I want to work for you. I want to do all this. And I'm like, yeah, but now I got to think if there is traffic, if you have a car breakdown, if just something happens, you're too far away to to get any type of like real traction. So the answer is just no. And it's not because I don't like you. It's because it doesn't make sense, and it's got to make sense. Ruckus says, out here, we have to contend with the lowball and DJ lowballing themselves just to get put on. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I just, it is what it is. Um, so I know I told you guys last Thursday, be careful. Wifey going to put you on the couch for what? What for dating women when I was younger? Come on, man. We're grown-ups here. We're well beyond the whole, well, was she better than me stuff. Like, we're not talking about that. Like, come on. But I will bring up one thing. So the girl grew up in my hometown. That's when we started dating. Briefly, it wasn't like a ridiculous amount of dating. But then she moved, and I would drive out to Fontana and Mixmaster. I would drive out to Fontana, and everything was cool. Like, every maybe once a week, like it was all cool. And not to be Debbie Downer, okay? Everything was cool until one day it wasn't. And this was the day that I stopped going to Fontana. We had arranged time. I was going to come out, hang out, whatever. And I drove to Fontana. It was like a weekday. It was a good, 2 hours to get there. And I got to the house, knocked on the door, and Dad opened the door. And I was like, "Hey, how you doing? Is so-and-so there?" And he's like, he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, she is." And I said, can I talk to her? And he said, "No." Shut the door. I'm standing out in front of the door like, okay. And then like 15 seconds later, she opens the door and she's like, "I'm sorry. I can't see you right now. I'll call you later." And then I said, "Okay." Now, mind you, 2.5 hours in a car. Once she shut the door, I got in my car. I sat in my car for like 3 minutes. And then that was the end of the relationship for me. So, anyway, it's amazing the little things you remember, because that was a long time ago. Yeah. She didn't have a new man in the house. No, she had a racist father, is what she had. So if that new man was a racist, then yes, she had a new man. She's Italian. It's very normal for Italians to have a little problem with us dark folk. She did not have an Italian dad when she lived in my town. Parents were divorced. So I hadn't really met Dad yet. There you go. Anyway, it's all good. Things happen for a reason. Things happen for a reason. Okay, let's see here. I see Mixmaster in the house. I saw Ruckus. I saw Philip Tan in the building. Chef 7284. Ernesto. Okay. Elias Soul Hughes? The hell? Anyway. Bergen, Norway. Would you recommend the Rain 1 MK2 or the System 1 for DJs, mostly doing radio host? DJ for social dance events. You accomplish the same with both of them. Fundamentally, there's no difference in what the Rain 1 does versus what the System 1 does. Fundamentally, okay? You still got 2 decks. You still got great sound. You still got a crossfader. You still got 2 channels. The only difference is how you deal with it. I bring a computer to one. Maybe I don't bring a computer to the other. Maybe I have a backup, an instant backup in one. The faders are good on both of them. It is a little better on the system one. The system one has all those internal and all those standalone options. So that's something that you can't discount. I like them both. I mean, they both have the same jogs, they've both gone to the same platters, and they're both very good on there. I mean, it really depends on what you're doing as far as if you wanted a standalone, but if you didn't want a standalone, but I have both and I'm not sending one of them back. You get what I'm saying? They both work really well. Anyway, you should have told her to move back to mom's. You act like, look, back then, and we were still kids, yeah, we were older. We were, either teenagers or like right out of high school, but like, we're still kids. Some people don't have the option, and it is what it is. You guys love to tell me what I should have done, knowing that I have no control over what a family does with their relocation. And I ain't getting married, I mean, it wasn't that kind of relationship. Oh, it's okay, baby. Just come live with me. We'll start out here. Stop. Okay, let's see here. Damn, 2 hours. But was she better, Mixmaster? We have a client that has a business in Corona and he drives from Oceanside to Corona. No, thank you. No, thank you. Chasing the cat. So, I know it says, Don Rafa says, hoping your 14 events went off without a problem. No, there were problems. Music Fan says, we talked about uplights last week. I know you ordered some, but definitely check out Mad Par 4 IPs from JMAS. We got some to check out for production as our Freedom Pars are starting to die. Okay. Here's the problem, Music Fan. Okay. This is going to sound weird. Okay, well, hold on. Before I say it. We'll get back to JMAS real quick. But so we had to rent a crap ton of uplights, and that wasn't the problem. The problem was how much they were. It's funny. Mackie didn't send me any speakers this time. They didn't send me anything. I haven't gotten any messages about them, so I don't know. I have no idea. I had no idea that they even had speakers out. That could be me. I could check my emails and they sent me an email saying, "Hey, we got some speakers for you." I have not. I just haven't been. Sorry, I'm looking for my plug. There it is. I just haven't been really available to do as much as I'd like to right now. I did see the Nick soundbite, and I'm not surprised. I've always felt that Mackie's been a little lax on their power descriptions. This is this many watts. It's never this many watts. And I've said that since like the thrash and the thumps and all those other things. I've always said it. It's marketing. This peak bull is like destroying everything. Because it's a flat out lie in general, and they all do it. Some do it worse than others. It goes down to minus 20 hertz. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. But anyway, it's Ever since I stopped using RCF for their amps, Mackie has fallen. No, they haven't. What they've done is they haven't changed their marketing. I think that's the biggest deal with Mackie. You can be the lower tier. There's nothing wrong with that. Just say that. You're pricing yourselves like you're a lower tier. So then why do you try to act like you're outperforming these top tier speakers? That's my issue with Mackie. Just be the low entry level speaker, for everybody. And if somebody wants to get a little better, yeah, then you have that option. But they don't compete. They don't compete with other like competitors. They don't. And I use Mackie. I use Mackie for ceremonies. I use Mackie for cocktail speakers. But all those main Mackies that we used to use, we've replaced them, or given them away to people that needed something that was a little smaller, lower tier, less people on the events. And that's okay. That's okay. Just be that company. All right. Hopefully I'm not dead. I'm dead. Ever since, the one thing about my 14-inch laptop, which I'm starting to notice, is the standby time. I got to check to see why it feels like my computer that's just sitting in my bag is dying now. It didn't used to. But it is, 6 years old. It doesn't die when I'm using it. I'm only talking about the standby. The standby is kind of trash right now. And I started noticing it over the last week. Now I need to check to see if there's just something running in the background all the time. And I haven't had time to really look at it. All right. Anyway, back to uplights. Mac, you see, now it's up. See, just something, it's in standby time. Let me get to my comment section here. Ooh, yeah, I do have multiple laptops, fortunately. But I remember. All right, let me bring up let me just bring up my comment section so we can. I don't want to install update. Just let me be, man. I really do hate Windows. Like, I hate Windows with a passion. Okay. So, this week, there we go. We did rent. We had to rent like 40 uplights. Okay. The problem with the 40 uplights wasn't renting them. I don't mind renting them, but there's one thing you have to hopefully make sure that they're, that they're decent uplights. Sometimes they'll try to sell you wired ones and you're like, I don't want wired ones. I need some wireless ones, or they're just ugly, kind of beat to shit, whatever. Like, it just exists. So we had ordered them. The biggest problem is when you're doing production, you're giving people discounts, right? Like, the more people buy, the cheaper the overall product is. That's kind of standard for any type of business. Excuse me. So there was a lot of parties where we're doing. Look, if I'm charging you $20,000, $25,000 to do an event, the reality is you're probably going to pay $20 an uplight. I mean, if it's like one off, maybe you're paying 35 to 40. But for like, I'm bringing in like 75 uplights, you're going to pay $20 an uplight for that. But when you start running out of lights and you have to rent them, and I'm renting them from production houses, so they should be cheaper. But the production houses have increased their rental prices. So some of these production houses charge me $35 to rent an uplight. And I'm like, dude, this is for me. They're like, okay, we'll give you a discount. Okay, $33. I'm like, okay, so For every uplight I rent, I lose money. For every uplight, I lose money. So we were like, okay, we're gonna have to call some other people that do production like us and see if they're not busy, we'll use theirs anyway. So we set up some rentals with some like-minded companies, and they were like $12 an uplight. I'm like, that's fair, 12 to 15. Well, I will absolutely do. That's fine. But you can't charge like retail rental prices. You can't do that. So we stopped. So then we canceled the one that we had from our production company. There's more that happened this weekend. I still haven't had a chance to talk to them yet because they kind of screwed me. So, but I told them we don't need the uplights. We're good on that. Everything else we still need. On Friday, we're loading up the LED walls for both parties and the lighting and stuff. And this truck is driving by and he keeps staring at us. I'm like, what is going on? He finally comes around one more time and he was like, I think I have a delivery here. I'm like, you have a delivery here? It was our uplights. All the ones we bought overseas. They arrived on Friday. No lie. It was like 3:00 in the afternoon. So we still kept the rentals with the other people, with the cheaper rental companies, because I'm like, look, we'll just pay it because I guarantee you we're going to need it. It's something happens, and we did need it on my party. Well, I guess I'll explain that in a minute. So they came in. Again, we bought them from overseas, but what they're doing now, which is kind of cool, is they have our logos on the charging box and on every light. So we now know it's like these are ours. You can't deny they're ours. It's got our name on them. So that was great. I still brought the color keys because I do like the color keys. I think they have a really good, the color keys have really good light blends, which I'm a fan of. So I did bring the color keys just in case, and I used them because, when I got to the party, the ceremony was going to be in another room, but they had some, I was going to say halogen lights, but, there's the old school long bar lights. They wanted them covered. So when I first got there, I had enough covering for the one they showed me. But then when I got there on Saturday, they had moved everything out of the room. So now there's like 4 of them that needed to be covered. I'm like, okay, this is a lot more than I expected. I don't think I have enough cellophane. Thank you, Keith. Keith's always like on my back. Hey man, you meant fluorescent. Keith's got my back. We finish each other's sentences. So I knew I didn't have enough, but I also knew I'm like, this doesn't look good. So I said, you know what? We're going to change it up. So I turned off all the lights. We had some washers already built in there. And then I brought in all the uplights, and I literally, it was like, it was a full white room. So I uplighted the entire room, with kind of this off-white color. And it was definitely a mood. When the rabbi got there, she was like, oh, well, am I going to be able to see? I'm like, I have 4 large washes pointed at your face. So yeah, you're going to be able to see just fine. Not at your face, or you can't see, but lower towards the bima. So the thing was, here's the thing about production. Okay. There's a lot of liberties that are taken. So there are different types of production companies out there. Okay. Not good or bad. There's the ones that are like, oh, you want us to think and design everything? Cool. And there's the ones that are like, okay, you want me to follow everything you say? Cool. And then maybe there's like a hybrid in the middle. We're like the hybrid in the middle, because the truth is a lot of planners, clients, they don't really know what they want. They think they do, but they don't really know. So when you go into these things, the day of, they'll be like, oh, you know what? We need to wash there. And oh, I need to do something over here. And oh, meanwhile, we've already seen all this, but maybe they just didn't think about it. So they were just going to cover that the strips. And I'm like, that doesn't look as good. So I made the choice to put the uplights around there. Okay. And it was definitely a mood. It was a total vibe. Here's the thing. A lot of people wouldn't have done that. They would go, oh, no. It's better to just keep the lights on. This might bother people. This might do whatever. And this is what happened. When people walked in the room, they were like this. Ooh, oh my gosh. Wow. Because when you're going to a ceremony or a service, it's really normal to have just like fluorescent, thanks to Keith, have fluorescent lights up, just standard lighting. You walk into a big ass, yellowish white room. That's normal. But if you get in there and you're like, every room you go into, you're just like, this is an experience. So that's where the uplights came in. And that was one thing I had to change. The next thing I had to change. So we were doing a cross truss for this party. Actually, we were supposed to do a 4 truss, but because of the way it's one of those photography studios where the what's it called, Muslim, where the wall kind of goes up like this. It's flat and then it goes up. And so when you're doing a wall, you need it to be on stable ground. So we had to push it forward. And needless to say, we weren't going to be able to do a 4 because there wasn't enough space on both sides. It would have come too much into the middle of the room. But they didn't know that at the place I rented from. So we bring everything out as we're supposed to. We start setting up the truss to the base. Okay. Take their bolt. Try to put it in the hole. It doesn't fit. The screws go in the bottom. There is a recessed circle with the hole patterns. And then they have an Allen key recessed like concave screw that goes in so it can be flush. So when you set down the base, it's flat. Okay. So 2 things happen. 1, the screws won't go into the holes. They're slightly too small. And 2, it's an Allen wrench, but it's not your standard Allen wrench. It's like one of those super beefy ones that you have to get like the custom sizes. Like you're not going to be able to get that out of one of them Allen wrench combo kits. So I see that their hole won't fit the screw and that it's an Allen wrench key that I don't have. I pull up my phone. Home Depot. Fortunately, there was one about 1.5 miles away. Now we're in LA, Hollywood area. So, traffic takes a minute. So I drove over there. Meanwhile, they're still setting up lighting and an LED wall and all that stuff. We had a floor covering and everything. I got some video. I'll see if I can put it out there. Anyway. So took a screw, went to Home Depot. I'm like, this is what I need. The guy's like, I don't do it that size. It's not on the key wrench. Like it doesn't fit. I'm telling you. So he goes, oh, well, you're going to have to get the bigger ones. And then they don't make the bigger ones separately. So I have to buy an entire pack to fit it. And then I got to buy some new adapters to fit this big ass bolt. So that's fine. Whatever. Pay it. Sir, you only need one. I don't pay it. I have to go. So I get back and sure enough, we start, the hole's not big enough to fit that. So, okay, cool. So we had to get one of them, expanders. We got a couple of drill bits first. We were just kind of drilling it, but then we got a one of those like butt plugs. It's the only thing I could think of. It's like a Christmas tree. You just kind of drill in and it opens it up. So we got the first screw in. We got it in. Cool. Great. Everything, we're doing it. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, cool. Done. It's in. We get the second base, okay, to attach to the second truss. So that's the upright trusses before the cross. Okay. We line up the hole patterns to drill the holes in. Guess what? Different hole patterns. Different hole pattern. Those bases won't work. So, fortunately, I took a crap ton of our bases that are just, they're smaller. They're still 50-pound bases, but like they're a little smaller, a little more thing. So I say, well, lucky for us, because we use the bases for all the poles that we light stuff with and the LED wall there for the trussing too. So we have them all there. And so I happen to have more bases. And I talked to my lighting guy. I'm like, how many more bases do you need? He's like, oh, I only need like 2 more. So these are good. So we took my bases, the ones I already had, the ones I'd have to pay for. Now remember, I have standalone trusses. I have the bases that work for everything. I didn't have the cross truss. And when you're doing a cross truss, it's better to, in my opinion, to drill them from the bottom. It's better to screw them like with actual lock nuts instead of like just the cotter pins. I don't mind the cotter pins if it's just like a standard, straight up and down thing, but I don't want to do cotter pins when it's like a cross truss. That's putting too much stress on there. I don't want to deal with it. I like the idea of having bolts. So, but neither here nor there. I'm like, okay, we'll use our bases. We'll just sandbag the hell out of them and the bottom just because it's a shorter base. So we want to make sure. So my guys are now laying them down, setting up the cross truss part of it. Okay. You would think this was a lie. You would think I was making a joke up. Okay. Honestly. And, they get it connected. Now we had already arranged, with the fire marshal, because, you can't extend past 12 feet on any type of like builds. Okay. That could be trusses. That could be the LED wall. You can't do that without like extra supports and all that stuff. And that's assuming that the venue can even do it. So they had already said, well, if you go past 12 feet, not only do you have to provide all these other permits and all this other rigging, but it's going to cost you a lot more money. So I said, well, it's okay. The wall's only 10 feet. So we'll do a 1 foot stage, 10 feet with the truss on top. The truss won't extend past 12 feet. So they're like, okay, good. You don't have to pay anything else. No more permits. Cool. So the trussing system that I rented was 11 feet by 18 feet wide. Got it. 11 by 18. The wall is under 10 feet. It's technically, because it's meters. So it's technically like probably 9.6 meters, somewhere around there. Okay. I'm sorry, 9.6 feet because each meter is, anyway, I'm not going to get into the math. Anyway, so it was like 9.6 feet, right? And then you have the 1 foot stage. So now you're sitting at a little under 12, right? 11.6. So you're good. All the lighting will be built hanging, so it'll be underneath it. So you don't have to worry about that. God, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. The guys lay the trussing down. They attach the cross truss. They lift the cross truss. Please tell me, and I'm doing other things. So I'm not really watching them. I'm doing other things because we have a shit ton of parties. When they lifted the thing up, the whole thing, top to bottom, 9 feet. Cross truss, damn near at the top of the second part of the wall. We hadn't even finished the wall build yet. So the cross truss was too low. They didn't put the adapters needed to make it the size. I'm texting the lady like, dude, what the fuck is this? Like, what are you guys doing to me? Oh, well, yeah, it happens. And I'm like, this is not an answer. I told you exactly what I needed. You then told me what I was getting, and then you didn't provide it. So yeah, you screwed me. I don't blame her. I don't blame people. That's the wrong thing. I have trust issues, but when I've worked with somebody for a long time, and typically they do a good job. I'm not going to just completely dismiss them when one thing happens, whether or not it be that something this big or not. I'm not going to be that guy. So I know in general it works fine, but I got screwed on this one, and she was a little dismissive on the text message. I was a little annoyed by that, but I'm like, I don't have time to worry about that. I just got to get it built. So trusses went up. I'm like, and they kept building the wall. And then finally I'm like, just pull the truss down. We'll just do the side pieces. We'll put all the movers on the sides of the trusses. We'll put some lights inside the truss to really give them some ambiance, make it feel like it's supposed to be there. We'll keep the top on. That way it lines up with the wall. So it just looks good. But that's a compromise. Okay. That's a compromise for what the vision was. And this is what I've learned in production, that there's just a crap ton of compromises. Every time you think you're going to do something and you think it's going to work the way you want it to work, just sometimes it doesn't, and you're like, okay, that won't work, but we can do this, this, and this, and this. And then I had some other lights. I really do love the B topper, B lights. I do love them. So I will show you. Anyway, as I'm looking for this, I'm going to read back. Okay. Recently, my capacitive touch jog on my SX3 sporadically stops working. The Rev 5 is a natural progression for replacement, but I'm considering a Rev 7. Thoughts on used Rev 7 versus brand new Rev 5? They're both good. They're both good. Honestly, like, they're different. They're, I'd potentially be more concerned with misuse of a Rev 7 than misuse of a Rev 5. That is the one thing I will say. Just because you do have to really take care of that Rev 7, or you could have a lot of problems. But the Rev 5 is easier. So I'd probably say go with the Rev 5, in all honesty. Okay. They need to be accountable and drive what you need off. I agree. But here's the thing. This is why they can't be accountable. They're not open on the weekends. Like, how are you a production house and you rent equipment to people, but you're not open on the weekends? So on Saturday, you can't get the parts you need. Even if you could, you can't get the parts because there's nobody there, which I think is just incredibly stupid, just in general. Okay. DJ J Tech, welcome. Thoughts on the Chauvet DJ Sentinel? You had me at Chauvet. No, I haven't talked about them. We've talked about Chauvet a lot. Let's just leave it at that. Like a lot. And, this kind of goes into my thoughts on the JMAS uplights that I was going to bring up. I don't have a problem with any of these things. My problem, I have all these golf balls because I just got a new truck, and all these golf balls were chilling in my car, and I grabbed them all and they were rolling around. So I had to take them out. Okay. What we're going to do is we are going to see some of these lights. That's the kind of man I am. All right. First off, we're going to close off all of these tabs to the right. Nothing wrong with these tabs. I'm just closing them off. I just don't like seeing so many tabs on the screen when I go full screen. Close tabs to the right. How hard is this? Close tabs. Okay. We're just going to close it out then. I think it's busted. Quit. Any day now. Okay. We'll get back to this. We're going to restart it. I think something is running in the background while it's sleeping. I'll check it out later on, but we'll let it restart first. Leave. Okay. Anyway, we'll get back to that. It's Chauvet. That's how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's Chauvet. How do you pronounce it? Chauvet? Chavette? I believe it's show. Like Shohei. One of the best baseball players to ever play the game. Shohei Ohtani. Dude, shut down. Shut down. Now, okay, I'm just going to hold it down. The one thing about Apple stuff, when it doesn't want to shut down, it doesn't want to shut down. All right, there we go. Restart. Okay. Let it restart now. There's my sound. Okay. So while this is restarting. Oh, I know it was a joke, Don. I know. Philip Ton says, I had a good experience last week renting gear from a legit production company. They threw in some of the nicest 50-foot power cards I've ever used. Check later to discover they were $250 at retail. I mean, I get it. And look, I mean, so I think this is the issue with I'm learning that the production houses are the same as the DJ houses. And what do I mean by that? I mean, there's this thing that's going around, okay? Thing that's going around that a lot of DJs are doing. And they're like, well, how much do you charge? And then in order to quantify how much they charge, they give you this breakdown. And you're like, this is what a client pays, what a client doesn't see that he's paying for. This has been a thing for a while. And then it's like, client says, why do you charge so much? I'm like, what client doesn't see? And it's got, multiple meetings with client. What's the other one? Practice, music research for your party. Then it's like $5,000 speakers, $3,000 controller. Time to get there, time to get back. My musical knowledge. That's why I charge so much. And I'm like, bro, you should have stopped at musical knowledge and DJ skill set, because your equipment does not validate what you charge. And I'm just getting real tired of seeing DJs when they're trying to justify the cost. They're like, well, look, my controller's worth more than that. That's not the point. You need a controller to do the job. Now, what controller you use is irrelevant. Like, if I'm an Uber driver, okay, and I got a little 4-seater, it's still allowing me to transport 3 or 4 people to a space from point A to point B, right? But if I get an Uber thing and they're like, I need 7 people. Well, guess what? That's a different car. That is a different car, and then you're paying accordingly. But ultimately, it's still taking people from point A to point B. If you use CDJXs to DJ that party, or you use a Newmark Mixed String Go, okay? We're talking the difference of legitimately $5,000, okay? If you are using either one of those, your ability to play the songs, one song to the next, does not change. It's just a medium that you prefer, but it doesn't change one way or the other. So you're not charging necessarily for your equipment. Yes, if they tell you, I don't know, it's 100 people on a party, right? And you're like, well, I only have the speakers that can do 500 people. You're not going to charge that client for that 500 person speaker. You're going to charge them accordingly to the amount of people they have, right? Now, if you only have one speaker, one pair of speakers, you can't take advantage of them because you only have one speaker. Like, that's not their fault. So if somebody has a party and it's 100 and I bring my pair of speakers, whatever it is, if they tell me, oh, now it's 500, I'm going to say, well, you're going to need speaker reinforcements. I'm going to need to do speakers in the front. I'm going to need to do speakers in the back. I'm going to need to do speakers in the other area. Now I'm going to charge you for the multiple speakers. I never once said I'm charging you for the cost of said speakers. I never said that. You get what I'm saying? So back to Chauvet, back to even JMAS, and I'm a big fan of JMAS, but back to them. I have a problem with the cost of some of these things, knowing what they cost to build. I have a problem spending the money. Last week, we talked about the fact that you could replace your Chauvet Freedom Power Hex batteries because remember, prior to, I want to say 2012, they were all internal batteries. They switched over to the hot swappable batteries. And like I said, about 2012, 2013, I can't remember exactly, but they switched over to that. And they switched over to that because people were complaining about the internal batteries not holding their charges or just failure points. So that made sense to swap up batteries. I love that idea. But when the battery replacement for the, how many Chauvets do I have? I think I have 60 Chauvet Freedom Power Hexes, somewhere around there. In order to replace the battery in them, in one Chauvet light, it's going to cost me about $200. I've seen them drop to like 160. I've seen them go up to like 240. Okay, I think Chauvet retails them for like 276 or something like that. Okay, the light itself is $400. You can typically get them on a discount if you buy a whole bunch. Okay, so maybe it's $300. You're gonna tell me now, and then if my uplights I just bought from overseas, I just bought. Is it 5 boxes? Yeah, 5 boxes. So I bought another 60 uplights. My uplights cost me, I don't know, 60 an uplight? Somewhere around there. I think it was like 60. So you tell me, people in the chat, how can I justify even replacing my Freedom Power Hexes for, at a minimum, $150 a piece when I can get 2 more uplights at the same price? And that's if that's the cheapest. Like I said, I've been seeing for like $230 to replace the battery, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. And no, you're not going to get my money because F you. That's crazy. That is crazy. You can't charge more for the battery than you do for the light. If the light at full retail is $400, you can't charge $270 for a battery. That is wild. So no, I won't replace those lights because I have principle. I will use them now, the ones that don't work, as wired lights for them overflows. I can get rid of them. When they work, they still work well. And they have this. They have the wireless already built in. Not ILS. They have the standard DMX wireless for the Chauvet, so I can run them. That's the reason why I used to love them all the time, because I didn't have to do anything. I could just run them right off the Chauvet DMXs. I ordered 4 more, by the way, of the Chauvet DMXs. I think they come today. I also bought a refurb. Apple Watch Ultra. This thing has been great. This battery lasts forever. Forever. Very happy I bought this one. Wasn't sure about the all black, but I do like it. Okay. Let's see if we're up. Hold on. Okay. And it really is. Get on the internet here. Okay. Now we're going to look at 2 different lights. Yeah, I was at 20. I was completely dead. 2 different lights. We're going to look at Chauvet. Oh, yeah. So look. This is the battery. That's how much it cost. This is from Chauvet Parts. It's from them directly. They want $277 for this Freedom Power Hex Light battery. Tell me that's not insane. Tell me that's not insane. Twig Music Tips in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. Just do this. On. There we go. Okay. Now let's take a look. What were the lights called? The Chauvet what? Hold on. Let me get my other thing here. All right. Let's see what we got here. Hold on. What were they called? Chauvet. DJ Sentinel. Sentinel. I've never even heard of that. Okay. Oh, because I'm still on Chauvet Parts. Let's just ChauvetDJ.com. All right, let's see here. What are you doing to me, Show? Even their websites cause me problems. Chauvet Sentinel moving heads. Okay, you said they're ILS. All right, let's check out ILS. Okay, enough, dude, enough. There we go. Okay, Sentinel Spot 60, new. All right. Okay. Let's see. The versatile Spot Q60 ILS brings all the essential moving head features with no compromise and the added benefit of a totem mode. They need to stop. All their stuff is totem mode. To keep all the action pointed at the dance floor, projects crisp gobos and saturated colors with an intense 60-watt RGBW LED built-in DeFi. Makes wireless setup as easy and ILS compatible. Makes it a snap. Okay. How is this different from their Spot? It's still 60 watts. The Spot's 60, I believe. Maybe this one might be less than the Spot, or this is just their new Spot. Yeah, these are babies, man. What the hell is this? They need to check their marketing team. Lighting that moves with the movement.
And suddenly, the night
3 different vibes, 3 compact movers. What? I don't even understand this commercial. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Okay. So, so essentially, it is, it's the same light. It's the same light. It's better priced in the spot by like $300. Okay. If you are using ILS already, I'm never going to tell somebody not to buy more ILS products because you're in the ecosystem now. So you don't have options to just go outside and get other things. So if you don't have they're $300 less because they're less wattage. They're probably smaller. And they just put out less power in general. And I don't think these are battery powered. I could be wrong. So because Chauvet doesn't just make different products. If the cost of the fixture is less, it's not because they just remove some stuff. That's how they work. That's how Chauvet works. Yeah, not battery powered too. So what is going on? There we go. Yeah, it's essentially the same light with just less features. Sorry, I'm looking at their things here. All right, 1 LED quad color, 60 watts. Yeah, they hang. Don't brag about a hanging bracket. Every light has a hanging bracket. You're not special. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, they're fine. They're fine. ILS, do. Again, as I've said this about all Chauvet ILS products. There's nothing wrong with them. Okay. And if you were in the ecosystem, you don't have a lot of options. They do the job. But with any ILS, you will be compromising. Period. So as long as you're cool with the compromise, or, then you're fine. Or you're doing smaller events, then you're fine. I don't have a problem with them. I just also know that if you're not doing ILS, okay. If you're doing ILS, you don't have a choice. You get the Chauvet products. You spend the premium because you know that everything's going to talk to each other. You're good. Okay. But if you're not doing ILS, stay away from Chauvet products. You can get much cheaper ones from any other lighting manufacturer on the planet. There you go. There's my spiel. They're not doing anything special from a standard traditional lighting company right now with all their movers and stuff. But if you're ILS, then you're good. Hopefully that makes some sense. All right. Let's see the JMAS. If the guy's still here, does anybody remember what it was called? JMAS lighting.com. Anybody remember products, new products? Mobile hybrid LED. What is this? Sorry, I just got caught up in some LED wall stuff. I'll come back. All right, let's see here. All right. You can argue metal versus plastic, but that's not a deal breaker anymore. They're, hold on, mad par. All right. So these are pars. And okay, so these now obviously they're IP rated, so they're going to be good anyway because you can use them outdoors. So that's the first thing. I know that they've been doing a really big jump lately. I saw them at NAMM, and they're trying to do this whole almost like a Ape Labs type thing where everything fits all nice and snug in the pack thing here. It's all wireless, and then you can control. So I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing. Biggest problem with JMAS products, color. That's the biggest problem. They do some real different colors, and some people it could be a little polarizing. But all right, here's a 6-pack with the case. Yeah, IP rated, which is great. 14-hour battery life, that's excellent. 40 hours in savings mode, okay. 4 hours each unit. Wireless DMX, IR remote. Let's see what they're charging for this. Where's the, let's try this one. No. Okay. So they want $300 a light. So still the standard. $2,000 for 6 in a case. $2,200. And that's not even the same ones. That's the Rubik's. It's a lot. It's, God, I can't imagine. I mean, that's why everybody has to go with this kind of like built in and kind of create your own. Oh, look, this is like Ape Labs. They come in their own case and they all talk to each other, one another. And it's all just like programmed in. That's the only way they can get people to like spend that excessive money, knowing that you can get, if we're only looking for uplights, okay, not some designer uplights. And I'm sure they are incredibly bright. I am not dismissing, and I think I need people to understand this. I'm not dismissing any product. I'm sure that not all companies, but JMAS in particular, I know they do a lot of their own, in-house builds and stuff. And I do know that their lights are super bright, almost to like a fault where I have to hit those dimmers and I got to bring them down. I've never run any of their JMAS, their bars on full power. Not one time. It's too damn bright. So I appreciate that. So if they have that in there, that's fantastic. But yeah, it's a pricey little thing. And then, so I guess what I was saying ultimately when I came back to the production houses, like there's a lot of lighting companies that charge a lot because of the quality of their lighting, what they've spent for stuff, not in their actual technical skill. So maybe it's a $50,000 light install and they're like, yeah, but it's because I have these two $2,500 uplights and $2,000 movers and this and that. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, any light will do that, Ernesto. Like any light any light that you buy nowadays will give you enough. I know somebody was talking about the plastic versus metal. I mean, all of my Chevrets were metal. All of my overseas ones are metal casing. Still cheaper, $60 a piece. Same light. So it is just, the Asteras are incredible. Okay? The Asteras are incredible. I don't have Astera money, but Asteras in general, their engineering, incredible. If you can afford Asteras, the battery lasts forever. They do have hot swappable rigs. and the color channeling is so impressive. The colors you can get off of those Asteras, I've never seen before. But I don't have Astera money. I don't have Astera money. Sorry. Let me back up. I may have Astera money, but I'm not spending that kind of money, because all that does is eat into my profit margins. Why would I want to do that? If nobody's going to bring it up, if nobody's going to talk about it, if nobody's going to say, I need you to provide these, why would I buy those? That's like saying that every party you go to, your client's like, I will only book you if you use RCF speakers. And you got like some JBLs or some Mackeys. No. And then every party is like, I'd love to book you, but you need to have RCF. At a certain point, you're going to go, fine, I will get RCF. And you'll take all those bookings. But if nobody ever asks you what kind of speakers you have or what kind of speakers they require, then what does it matter what you use to a certain degree? I mean, you're not going to use, bullshit. I'm not going to say that. But in general, you can get it done with pretty much everything. Music fan, curious how much did they charge you for the branding on the ones you got in? It was free. It was included. Case and the uplights included in the fee. You buy enough. I mean, it's all in how many you buy. Okay. They're not going to put that branding on for free if I bought, one case, but I bought 5 cases, with the lights. So there's more options there. I will say this, getting deals, which is it's kind of ironic, because in order to get deals, you have to spend more money. But the people that need the deals typically don't have the money to buy all that. So that term, the rich get richer, applies here. It absolutely applies here. Because I know that's the cost of the buy-in is why a lot of DJs can't do like overseas, because they're like, well, geez, I have $1,000, I have $1,500. I need to get all these lights, but I can't afford the Chauvets. But in order to get the discount on the overseas, I might have to spend $5,000. I might have to spend $8,000. And some people don't have that. So I completely understand it. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like, no, man, you just, because there's always those people. It's like, I'm broke. Have you tried not being broke? Like, that's not how it works. That's not how the world works. I have the Chauvet Freedom Par Flex Sticks 4, and they perform pretty well. Only issue is that they have D5 for wireless only. Again, I don't have a problem with anything that Chauvet has. I think they're overpriced. I think they charge too much. I think when they were doing like real high-end lighting, it was different. And back in the heyday, when Chauvet was like the big name in town, but nowadays they're not the same. And they're doing full on like stadium installs and that kind of stuff. That's how they're making their money. It's not off this Chauvet DJ stuff. So they don't really, I don't truly believe that they care like they used to. I don't. Maybe that's just me. I currently run Chinese wireless and Chauvet because I love my D5s. I love my D5s too. I just bought more. That's how much I love them. And I know that all these Chinese manufacturers work off of the Donner, the Donner frequency, or Donner makes the frequency for that everybody uses as the standard. And I have Donner antennas. I don't like to use them. First off, nothing is as clean and as smooth as the Chauvet ones. Nothing. Those D5s are and they're so easy. They're so easy to program. I'm not trying to match a color to a color. Maybe. Literally, it's just boop, boop, boop. I'm in. I'm locked. So anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're in a weird place right now. The dock is money. Yeah, I thought my dock was broken, and then I took some deoxit, and I literally just cleaned my contacts. It's like a brand new dock. Now I bought another dock because, okay, again with Chauvet bullshit, they won't sell you 4 of anything. Like 1 transmitter, 4 receivers. What? That is not true, Paul. Hi, Paul, welcome. But I don't agree with that. To say Ape Labs are by far the best. They're good lights. They're not the best. They're very specific to the person using them. I'll get back to you, Paul. And then the context bringing back. But Chauvet won't give you 1 transmitter, 4 receivers. They'll give you 1 transmitter, 3 receivers, and then you got to buy another receiver. So right now I have 1 transmitter, 4 receivers because I bought the extra one. But now that I'm doing so many movers, it's not enough. Now I daisy chain and all that stuff. That's great, but I like to have the option. So I just bought a whole new batch of 1 transmitter and 3 receivers. The reason why I don't care is because these are my swappable ones. You know, I've charged them and I can keep some charging on the side. And if I have to swap it out real quick, I can swap it out. That's why I bought them for. So, and the same thing would apply with the transmitter too. So now I have 2 sets. Okay, back to Ape Labs. Paul, I have Ape Lab stuff. I have a ton of Ape Lab stuff, and I agree that they make a great product. And I mean, look, there's some Ape sticks right back here. They're cool. They were the original Chauvet, what's the word I'm looking for? The ILS. They were the original like ILS company. Now everybody else is trying to emulate them. And if you're just doing, hey, run my stuff, it's very cool. And the programming built in is very, very good. So no complaints whatsoever. However, they do have a very different, light spread. They have a different pattern. It does require you to operate stuff like off of your phone or off of the wireless DMX transmitter that you need to have. So it is it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, you know, and especially if you're trying to do DMX in tapping onto them. Now you got to hold there's a lot more to it. If you're only using Ape Labs and you just and like running them in auto and stuff like that, like I think they're great, but they are dumb expensive. But I would not call them the best uplights. They might be the most expensive uplights, but I wouldn't call them the best. But they are quality. I know they're quality. They do a really good job. The builds are fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And again, not to dismiss Ape Labs, but some people want things to be a little more open. Again, same thing. If you're in the ecosystem, then this is a non-debatable question. Okay? If you use a whole bunch of Chauvet ILS stuff, then if the Chauvet comes out with a new product, you're likely going to buy it, even if it is more expensive because you're already in the ecosystem. Anything I buy, it's going to be iPhone bill. They make other watches. I didn't have to buy the Ultra, but it works with all my stuff. How about both lighting? I don't want to talk about both lighting. I don't want to talk about both lighting. Now, the question is, why don't you want to talk about both lighting CT? The one thing I will give both lighting, the one thing that's very good about both lighting, and it's simple. The majority of their things are battery powered. And I do like that. I like that they're making battery powered stuff. I like that they're making lighting, that's in white so that it matches everything. So the battery powered and the white, it's hard to complain about them. Okay. I just said that. Now I'm going to complain about them. They're, besides the battery powered, okay, there's really no difference with what they're providing than what any other Chinese manufacturer is providing. Dude, I'm not going to do all that, Paul. You're like putting in coins and like, come on, monkey, go. Like, come on. There's no pros and cons. The pros and cons are they're like every other overseas manufacturer. That's the pros and cons. So if you want to spend, and they do have American distributors like Rick Webb, but they're still an overseas company. They're still an overseas company, which I don't have a problem with. All my stuff is from overseas. So now when you're looking at the value of buying these lights versus just buying directly from the overseas companies that make those lights or similar lights, the question is, are you paying more? Now, some people will say I'm paying more because I have a local representative. So if I have any problems, I can do this. I can return my stuff. You're right. That is absolutely something that you can't really take away. Having a local distributor makes it easier than trying to just send it into the abyss, back to China. I agree, 100%. But if we're only talking about apples and apples, right? Apples and apples. A lot of the lighting, again, battery powered. I'm going to put that on its own little isolated shelf. And that's really cool. If that's what you want, they have some great lights. They're powerful. They're bright. But if I do a little research, okay, can I find those exact same lights? And that's the question. Because they're not reinventing the wheel. I mean, in all honesty, I'm pretty sure I could call both and be like, I want to be your California distributor. And I could set something up. So it's, I hate to be dismissive. I really do. I really do hate to be dismissive. When Rick first was like, oh, I'm doing both lighting. And I'm like, oh man, I honestly believed for a minute that he had arranged some exclusivity with some, Chinese company, and they were building his products, and he was both lighting, and they were just, they were manufacturing them, and he was selling them, and he was exclusive. And then I found out that he's just one of the retailers across the world that is doing this. So I assumed that it was his brand for a while until I realized it wasn't. So after I realized it wasn't, now I'm like, well, technically you don't have to buy from Rick. You can buy from so-and-so over here, and you can do this. So it's like, it's not necessarily the same. You know what I'm saying? So to each their own. I'm not pulling away. It's doing very well. Okay. The DJs love what it is that's going on. So I'm like, more power to you, Rick. Go do your thing, and the lights are good. I'm not saying that they're not good. They are good. But they're not his. Oh, this is the story of our life. Notice how the tariffs were kicked to the curb, but the cost of the equipment hasn't changed. Well, okay. I will say this. And this isn't directed at any one person. Okay. You can't elevate it. I don't think you can add the MPC sample because of the way that thing is broken out. I think you'd want more control over it, because you're kind of limited in what you can do. Not to say that there aren't some amazing demos, but I just think that you're not going to have as much control with it. It's your performances are going to have to be like very specific and dead on, in my opinion. But I have not messed with the sample yet. I will, but I think, You could accomplish this. I know it's small, which is what you're talking about. It's the form factor of like it being off to the side. So, that's cool. But I still would probably prefer to do something with like, alive instead. Okay. Okay. So back to tariffs real quick. So here's the thing. If you bought retail or bought from a company, okay, that was adding the tariffs into their pricing, then yes, you are getting screwed because a lot of those people have not dropped their prices down. When you buy overseas, okay, and you buy directly from somebody in China or whatever. I hate to say the word China because like I had a couple of friends that are Chinese and they're like, you can't just say China. They ship from everywhere. I'm like, you're right, but I'm getting mine from China. But, I can't just say like Chinese distributors. Like it just happens to be in China. Anyway, so when you buy from China or these overseas companies, they don't tack the tariff prices on. They charge what they normally charge. And then the tariffs are applied to it. And then the reality is the tariffs come from essentially, at like when they actually hit here. Okay. So the tariffs is supposed to be almost like nobody's really, you pay the tariffs at customs. Okay. Because you're not really paying the distributor. The tariffs are for customs, for doing the sales into America, shipping into America. So you're essentially paying customs. Okay. Once the tariffs went off, the Asian companies, there's no difference. There's no difference. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, we aren't experiencing that because the tariffs have disappeared. So now they're just charging what they normally charge. Now these local companies potentially charging more and not changing it. And look, to be fair, okay? To be fair, if I were a retailer, right? And then I had a president in office that was just emotionally just trying to hurt people, right? And tariff here, tariff there, no tariff here. Now there's a tariff here, now there's a tariff here. I would 100% raise my rates to cover that tariff price. And I would keep it there until there's been like something that has been consistent for months. Perfect example, right? Like when we give bookings and billings and give any type of like quotes, you don't quote them on the cheapest price. You quote them on the highest price. You quote them on the highest price. If like we do a lot of parties in the Bay Area. Now, in San Jose, maybe parking is not a big deal. These hotels and the parking and all that stuff. But in San Francisco, there's no street parking. You got to park in the hotels. You're going to spend an extra like $500 just on parking in San Francisco. Right? So when we have our Bay Area pricing sheets, the Bay Area pricing sheets are based upon San Francisco, not based upon San Jose. So yes, those San Jose people are probably paying a little more than those San Francisco people, or they're getting less for the same. But we don't have time to figure that out, and that's the same thing with the retailers. They don't have time. If 1 hour it's 100% tariff, and then the next hour it's 50% tariff, and the next hour is 200%, that's too much work. So they just bump the numbers up until it. So those numbers might stay forever. They might stay forever. We thought they were. I mean, look at these. What they'll do is they're all very smart. So they raise the prices, right? Now they're making pure profit. When people start to complain about the prices, they won't drop the price. They'll have big sales. And that big sale will bring it back down to what they were charging you retail just a few years ago. And you will thank them for the discount. That's how jacked up we are. And just don't buy from ADJ. Keith, just make it easy. Don't buy from ADJ. Oh, Scott. Well, I mean, that was the whole argument. When new technology comes out, it's more expensive. Then as it starts to become normal and everybody's doing it, even when they do tweaks and they make improvements, that price, they already paid for the R&D. So so the price will come down. Not anymore. EV running Evolve sales, $100 above pre-tariff rates. Yeah, see? We're not dumb. We're not done. And they just make profit. All these grocery prices that went up, they're not coming back down. This is the price now. This is the price. I just bought a new truck. I mean, it's dumb how expensive these vehicles are now. It's dumb. $60,000 for an F-150. You can go back right before the pandemic. An F-150. Yeah, I mean, I know there's the base models and stuff. The base model was like what? 35,000. Now the base model is like 48,000. It's crazy. New MacBook Pro went up. Did they? Which MacBooks are we talking about? I haven't bought a MacBook since the and I never buy new. I always buy refurb. I haven't bought a new MacBook in probably 20 years. Every single computer I bought has been a refurb. And you should too, in all honesty. 2017, I paid $37,000 for a 50K sticker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. Chances are that M5, it's not the computer. It's the RAM. They're not going to take too many losses. So it's that storage. It's all that, they have everything in there is RAM. The whole computer's RAM, basically. All that unified memory, that's all RAM. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's what happened. Keith is right. I knew there was something. They got rid of the lowest storage option and discontinued the next model up. They did the same thing with the phones. The phones aren't more expensive. They're just forcing you to buy the larger storage capacity phone. If that makes sense. The moment Serato is solid on Linux. Is that a plan? This computer that I use for streaming, I want to put on Linux because I'm tired of Windows. I don't even use Windows except for this computer. So that's essentially like once or twice a week. And I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. Do you have a show on the Elgato Stream Deck? No, I don't. This isn't a streaming show. I mean, I got one right here, but mine's still old. I haven't bought a new Stream Deck. Why buy a refurb? Is that a real question? Why buy a refurb? Because you're getting the same product at a considerably cheaper cost of entry. Like the question is, why would you buy retail? If I can save two reasons. If I buy online, say through Apple's refurb, I am going to save money on the computer because I was already going to buy, and I'll probably get, because all those computers that end up on the refurb are usually custom built. So like if I'll give you one example, and like he said, same warranty, like it's a brand new computer. But here's the thing. So at one point, I had bought an M4 and my partner had just bought another computer too. He ordered his. He went online, bought it retail, put all the stuff in, all the specs. He ordered his. All right. We got the same spec computer, but mine's a refurb. I got my refurb. Oh no, it was the 14. It was the 14. I got my refurb in 2 days, 3 days tops. His custom build took like 6 weeks. Anyway, it is what it is. Yeah. It's a brand new computer. And Scott is putting it in caps, but he's right. This is direct from Apple. I'm talking Apple refurb. I'm not talking all things refurb. I'm talking Apple specifically. Never buy. I mean, first off, you probably shouldn't buy a brand new MacBook anyway. Usually because it's on a newer OS and you can't really use it for DJing or for doing any type of video production. Like I still haven't updated the 16-inch M4 Max because of Resolume. Everybody's saying that it's acting crazy on the new software, on the new update. So I haven't updated it. So in general, if you buy a refurb, you're usually on like the older operating system. So you get a little more flexibility. Pre-stems Mac DJs would play on 12-year-old pre-stems, the top named computer pre-stems was the 2012 MacBook Pro. That was the GOAT. People would not upgrade past that 2012 MacBook Pro. I still have one. I use it for the photo booth before I buy my wife a MacBook Neo, and she can use that for the photo booth. But I ended up saving on both of them. I probably ended up saving at least $500 to like $1,000 just buying reverb, and I got what I wanted. So to each their own. You want to go out and spend retail? Enjoy. Or you want the new? Enjoy. Like, I don't buy refurb phones. I mean, even though you could do that too, I buy my phone literally right when they come out. I'm hoping, well, we're going to see. We're going to wait and see. We are going to wait and see. My daughter got her braces off today. Aww. Yep, she got her braces off. Now she's a 14-year-old baddie. People that text my office line, people that text my cell phone, drive me crazy. Yeah. When friends try to hook you up with other friends, like, oh, hey, they did my wall. First off, the wall that I did for my friend was like a relative. So they paid nothing. They essentially paid for the truck rental and the labor person. That's what, but now that I'm getting referred, they cannot afford. I hate being an asshole. I hate assuming, but I've been in sales and been doing this job for long enough that I can pretty much tell who can afford what. And that's no slight to the person, because I can't afford everything. I can't afford everything that we own if I were to rent it, on my own. But I've gotten really good at knowing and I hate to be that guy that's like, you can't afford it. You know what I mean? Like when, what's that, Pretty Woman? They walk into my store and I'm like, you want what? Oh man. Anyway, I am excited and not really excited for this iPhone Fold that's coming out in September. I'm still on the iPhone. What is this? iPhone 15, and it's been good to me. We've been in business for 18 years. It's been really good to me. I haven't had a reason to update yet. The Fold might be the phone that gets me to update. And that's only assuming that it's actually a good device, and that's debatable. I mean, Apple's going to make it a good device, and they're going to advertise it as a good, and their marketing is going to say it's an amazing device. But the question is, well, they almost got me to buy the orange one. I'm a big orange fan. And the newest one in the orange, I was like, I kind of like that. And then with their new, easy cropping and opening up, if you're doing like selfies, like that's great stuff. That's great stuff. But you're still not getting me to upgrade. So I have not upgraded for a couple of years now. It could be old man DNA kicking in. But like now I'm just like, unless you're doing something amazing, just like with the, why not use the Mac for your streaming PC? Just get a Mac Mini. Why? See, Scott, you're asking me to spend money I don't need to spend. This computer blows away most computers out there. Okay. Especially at the time that I got this one made, and I didn't pay for that one either. But I don't need to use, I don't have to buy, I have Macs everywhere. I could literally do my 16, but I like to compartmentalize. Okay. I mean, what that means is like, I like to have specific things that do those things and those things only. That's just me. I know who I am. I know the kind of person I am. If I have bags, cable bags, right? And I got a small system bag, I got a large system bag, then we go out and we do the LED wall. And then normally I literally have wiring just for the LED wall. Like I don't want things getting in the way. Now I'm not like one of those guys that's like, oh, your Fruit Loop is in my Cheerio. Like I'm not that guy, but I'm still the guy that like, no, this camera right here never leaves the desk. This is my A7 IV, never leaves the desk. None of this stuff in here ever moves. It just stays here. And I like it that way. I have a computer for the wall. I got a computer for my DJing. I used to be like, oh, just do both. But the computer for the wall, having a 16-inch screen is better than having a 14-inch screen. But DJing, the 14-inch screen is better than a 16-inch screen. I don't get why DJ Pro, every time you load a video track from external drive, the list jumps back to the top instead of staying at the same position. So I have a problem with video in DJ Pro. I don't think it's that good. I just don't think it's that good. It's very limited into what you can pull in and pull out too. So I'm out of all the things DJ Pro that I can't stand, it's their video. It's their video. But what I'm saying here is that I have a Steam Deck. I'm waiting for the Steam. What do they call that damn thing? I keep saying Steam Box, but it's not called a Steam Box. Or is it a Steam Box? Anyway, I am waiting for a Steam Box so I can because right now I'm just docking essentially my Steam Deck. I'm just docking it, but the quality of the games aren't the same. When you're playing with the Steam Deck, the quality can be a little bit okay. It can be a little crappier because you're playing on a little, small screen. Steam machine, thank you. But like, if I'm sitting on a couch, I want the best quality, especially when I'm playing like NBA 2K. They nerfed the hell out of that game when you're playing it on the Steam Deck versus when you're playing it like on your PC. The quality is literal night and day difference. So I want the Steam machine for stuff like that. But they just released the remote, the controller. So I'm hoping that the Steam machine is coming because I have money set aside. Now, how much money do you have set aside? Welp, because I know we have some gamers in here. I have up to $1,000 set aside for the Steam machine. If it's higher than that, I don't know. I'm going to have to just buy it without thinking about it first off. If you know anything about Steam and the way their distribution works, if you don't buy immediately, you might wait 6 to 9 months to get your product. So if you just have to they literally tell you to put the money in the Steam account. So then when it comes out, you just buy it right then and there. Because if you have to use a credit card, you might get screwed. There's a lot of, anyway, I'm not even that big of a gamer. I mean, I used to be when I was a kid, but since I've gotten older, it's nice to be able to just like shut your brain off for a little bit and play some NBA 2K or some Madden, which you can't play on a Steam Deck, by the way. They're supposed to be fixing that soon, but some Madden or something like that. I just bought the Mass Effect trilogy, and they reskinned it. It's beautiful. Even on the Steam Deck, it's beautiful. So I got $1,000 set aside for that. I got a lot of stuff going on over the next month or so. We have nationals for dance. I have a trip to Puerto Rico for my boy's 50th birthday. It is just as good, Pablo. It's just as good. Like, I don't even remember it because it was so long ago. So it's like I'm playing a brand new game. It's very, very cool. So yeah, everybody's different. I definitely don't play games all day long. I don't have time. Like, legitimately, if I'm not working on projects or products or learning something new or whatever, I don't have time. And we're a movie people or TV show people. So like, I try to watch a TV show with the wife, 1 hour or so, 2 hours, if we can do 2 hours, but typically it's like 1 hour, just to like get in that quality time, hanging around, because my kids in dance, either somebody's at home, somebody's driving, somebody's waiting, because it's a long day. Don't put your kids in dance. And my kids in dance an hour away from us, not because of the time is irrelevant. The distance is only, 25 miles, but it's LA. So it takes an hour plus to get to there and back. So that's 2 hours out of your day that you're not with your person. So what I do is, if I know I'm picking up my daughter, if I know I'm taking her and she's only has like a 2 hour practice, I go to the gym. I'll go to the gym in between. So by the time I'm done, I can take her home. Now I don't go to the gym at 10 p.m., which I normally do, just because I ran out of time during the day. So, yeah. Anyway, so when I play games, I'll play games like once every couple of weeks. I might dedicate an hour or so. That's why I play sports games, because it's just easy to just turn on, play a game or two, turn it off. That's the way I've always been. I won't play any of these like super long stories. Like, I had The Last of Us. I played 1. I started playing 2. I kind of got bored. Not that it wasn't good, but I'm just like, I don't know. So now I play sports games or real action-based games. Okay. Philip Tad, I'm sure you played a lead back in the day, Mixed Master. I don't know, man. That feels kind of racist. Oh, Philip, you must be really good at games. No. Mass Effect, to this day, Mass Effect is probably one of the best stories. 1, 2. I actually never played the last one, because everybody complains so much about them that I'm like, I can't buy the game. I can't play it. Now I know they've done some tweaks and they've fixed and everything. So I was like, okay, I'll just buy the whole thing. If I even play the third game, because everybody says the third game is great up until the ending. So we'll see. But even when I was a kid, I never did anything. Like, I played the game Mass Effect. Everybody was talking about, oh, you get to have sex with this person, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? I never even knew that was a thing. God, I'm so aloof. But I like to have them. I won't play them all the time. I always take like my little Steam Deck with me to when we go on trips and stuff. Like, that's the kind of thing where I'm just sitting around. BioShock was really good too. I liked BioShock. I could not beat the ending of BioShock Infinite. I don't think I was playing on I think I was playing on like regular mode. And I think I even flipped it to easy, and I could not beat it. So I'm like, I'm done with this game. Literally, last chapter, couldn't beat it. And I think that was before, when I was like, if I can't beat it on a regular, why even play the game? Now I'm like, I play on easy. I play on super easy. I want to feel like OP. Like nobody can touch me. I don't play games to like struggle anymore. I'm done with struggling with games. I play to win. I play to have some good times, turn my brain off, and then just enjoy. Half playing, half watching, just enjoy. I need to be overpowered now. Anyway, a Halo LAN party sounds crazy. I never got into Halo. Never got into Halo. I think I played maybe like one online piece of Halo. Never played it. But people swear by it. I know. Anyway, let's see if we have any DJ questions before I take off. Because I do need to go because I have so much more work to do. I got to call my insurance. They're trying to cancel my policy because some random guy, they were like, is this guy on your policy? And I'm like, no, he's not on my policy. But I never responded to say he wasn't on my policy because he's not on my policy. They're like, we're going to cancel you because you didn't get back to us. I'm like, why do I have to get back to you on a person that's not even on my policy? Like, apparently they use all this software and technology to like figure out like, oh, they're using this for work, or they're driving all this way, or they're doing all this. They do all these things instead of just ask you. So they make all these assumptions. And then when you don't defend yourself, when you don't supply the necessary data, even though the data you gave them in the first place hasn't changed, you have to defend yourself. Then they get rid of you. It's the dumbest thing. Now I got to call them and work it all out. Anyway, any thoughts on the new M Jackie? Is that Michael Jackson? Is that what you're trying to say? What's the M Jackie? Is that what we're talking about, Michael Jackson? I hope, I don't know. It says, any thoughts on the new M? And then the next thing says Jackie. I'm a little confused. But if it is about Michael Jackson, we're going to see that tonight. What do you think of in music, which with all their brands is Din and Dead, for example? I don't think so. But they are going to put their resources in where the money is right now, and the money's in Rain. The money should have been in Rain from the start, but I don't think they took Rain seriously, and they still wanted Denon to be at the forefront. I think they'll come out with something Denon at some point. Oh, I love Invincible. Love Invincible. It's one of my favorite shows. Invincible. I'm watching the season finale this year, just of The Boys. I don't know what the hell happened last episode. I have no idea. I was like in a fever dream. And then From came back out on MGM Plus, which I do love. I've been watching it with my older daughter. M Jackie is the Mackie. They haven't sent me anything yet. I think they think I'm mad at them, but I've just been busy. Because they sent me their Mackie Thump subs and it was essentially broken. And then I couldn't get the video out, and I think they think I'm mad at them, and I'm not mad at them. All right, let's see here. Mackie V4, make an impact. Mackie Thump V4. Okay. Okay. Where the hell is mine? There we go. Oh, I'm using the wrong thing. All right. 15 V4, 15 V4, 18S V4, professional powered subwoofer, yada, yada, yada. Thump 12 V4, Thump 15. Where is their, are they not doing the 10 anymore? But that's a Go. Never mind. That's a Go series. Okay. So just regular Thumps, passive or powered speakers. Okay. Loudest, lowest, clearest. I have a hard time believing that. DSP voicing modes, that hasn't changed. Music ducking, that okay. Outdoor, that hasn't changed. All these options have been there. Feedback limited, they've all been there already. Okay. Bluetooth streaming app, that hasn't changed. Literal, same connections. 1400 watts Class D amplification. I don't believe that. Lowest volume, 129 dBs maximum. I don't believe that. Lowest bass with 39 hertz. Okay. Voicing modes is whatever. Yeah. Yeah, this is wild. That's crazy. That is crazy. And that's just on their 12. What's their fit? And I mean, look at the prices though. $549 is wild. If these speakers were really as good as they say, it wouldn't be a $549 speaker. Okay? That's just my opinion. All right. See, here's the problem. Again, we're still doing the same class amplifier. This is 1 decibel louder, supposedly, with a lower bass frequency response. Yeah, I have a hard time believing any of this. There's no way. And the fact that their limiters are so aggressive on these types of speakers that there's just no way. Leave an impression. $849. This is 1400 watts too. So every amplifier, every amp in their system is using the same amp, is what I'm gathering. Every amp, every speaker is using the same exact amp. So there's no way that these things could be loud. I have been burned. Okay. I'll say this and then I'll probably head off. There's nothing wrong with Mackie. Okay. I've said this. I do not have a problem with Mackie per se. All right. I still think the Thumb Go's are some of the best speakers that they've actually made. I just wish they would be honest. I wish they would tell the truth about what it is, because pricing wise, you're completely opening the door for like an entry level speaker. Just be entry level. This is a Thumb. It's an entry level speaker. Don't give me buzzwords and things about how, it's delivering on. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because the moment you get into a place and you actually I have the SRXs, not SRXs. I think it's SRs or something like that. And which were supposed to be like the best ones they make. And I was like, they're no better than a Eon 5 SRMs. Thank you. They're no better than an Eon 515 high and sub. Like they're no better than that. So in my mind, just be that entry level company. And I think I think not only would you sell more product, you get far less returns, fewer returns, because people already know what to expect when they're buying said speakers. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Don't market me into buying something that I'm absolutely going to be annoyed with. Well, it wasn't a diss. The Eon 515 XTs are still my as far as portable speakers are concerned, and what they were at the time, they were my favorite speakers for small, like, small party people, small people parties. But if I have this humongous sub, the supposed humongous 18-inch sub and these 15-inch highs, and I turn them on and they don't sound better than the Eon 15 sub and high, that's a problem. That is a problem. And their limiters are dumb aggressive. They're so aggressive to a point where it almost makes them unusable, because you can't adjust the limiter. The limiter is just built in because they're protecting their amps, because they're not really the amplification numbers that they claim them to be. A 14,000 or 1,400 watt amplifier, I should not have a problem with on the majority of things. I shouldn't have a problem with it. Oh, it's little people. It's a little people party. Well, Versa, we're talking about me leaving. Unfortunately, I do have to go. I will be in Arizona. I did not take any gigs besides the gig I'm doing on Saturday, and this is why I didn't take any gigs. I am tired. I want one day. In fact, my flight, I think, when is my flight? I think my flight's at like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock out of Burbank. I might have even done a later one. And now that I didn't realize that my family was going to a dance convention. So like in reality, I was like, oh, I'll go later for them. I'm going to be alone. My flight is at 7:35 and I get in roughly 9 o'clock. I will not do anything. I'll probably go to a movie. Maybe. I'm stuck. I'm about to cheat on my wife with movies. We're supposed to see, we're going to see Michael tonight. I was like, do we have to see Michael tonight? I'd rather see Devil Wears Prada too. I know, just throw my black card away. But I've heard mixed reviews about Michael. They say the performances are great. The acting's great. It's not much of a movie though. So I'm like, okay, whatever. We can go see that on like a Tuesday, $5 Tuesday. Anyway, but I do want to see Devil Wears Prada. That movie is one of my favorite movies, and it came out of nowhere. I don't remember why or how I went and saw it, but I loved it, and I'm excited for Devil Wears Prada 2. I'm also excited. They say Mortal Kombat is they say Mortal Kombat's good. They say it's better than the first one that comes out May 8th. I'm excited for Mortal Kombat. I will definitely be seeing that on Thursday night. Anyway, there's a lot of movies that are coming out over the next month or so that I'm excited for. There will be a part 2. I've heard that about Michael too, but to me, that is not an argument to be made about why a movie wasn't as good as it should be. Because I've heard multiple things. They're shooting. I have friends that are actually in the movie, and apparently they had to have reshoots because the last part of it, the third act, was going to deal with some of the allegations, and based upon the settlement or whatnot, they weren't able to do it, so they had to reshoot the whole ending. Okay, so that's why there's not much of an ending, is from what I understand. But it's not like they had part 2 in mind already. Michael 2 show on. Anyway, Street Fighter. How do I feel about it? TD is in the building. What's going on, fam? It's been a minute since I've seen you. If I'm okay with Street Fighter being campy, because Street Fighter, the game was technically campy. I don't want a serious Street Fighter. I just don't want it to be corny. And it looks like they really said, we're going to be like the arcade game. So I'm okay with that. I will watch it. There's a couple of people in that movie that I'm like, I'm not really sure you match the character, but I'll give them a chance. And to me, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, that's all childhood stuff, man. So I'm going to go see it. I'm going to go see it. Like even Mortal Kombat 1, the new Mortal Kombat 1. I didn't think it was that good of a movie, but oh my God, when he sent her down the buzzsaw hat, and I was like, you got me right there, but the characters bringing on some random new character that didn't exist. Why would you do that? Why? You have so many characters. Why would you do that? Anyway, so apparently the next one, they got all the right people and Johnny Cage, and they say that he does a good job as Johnny Cage. So I'm excited. Tekken would be cool too. Yeah, there's a lot of things that have potential. Oh, did you know they're making a Gremlins 2? They're making a Gremlins 2. Yeah. Or not a Gremlins 3. Sorry, not 2, because they had a 2. 2 just sucked. So they're making a Gremlins 3, and supposedly it's not a reboot. It's actually going to be like a 28 years later type thing. Philip, this right here, I went and saw the first Mortal Kombat. Oh, I think we went to the Topanga AMC. And we did the midnight showing on Thursday night. And when I tell you, I've never experienced a movie quite like Mortal Kombat with 300 true Mortal Kombat fans. It was like when Scorpion showed up and then, Johnny Cage and they dropped him down into the thing, people were just screaming like little girl, like, ah, because it was so intense. It was so intense, man. I won't forget that. And overall, the movie itself sucked. But oh man. Oh, except for when he said fatality. Because at one time, the first fatality, I was like, that's not a fatality. You just, come on, man. But apparently the new one, the fatalities are insane is what they're saying. So I'm excited. All right, y'all. I know somebody texted him because he texted me like, hey man, I'm so sorry. I'm like, somebody asked about us. I brought it up. And so we're good. The other guys have already emailed me and I just got to get back to them about it. So thank you. Anyway, all right, guys, 12:57. I do have to run. I was going to say, if you're in Arizona, I don't plan on seeing anybody in Arizona. I'm literally going to either go to my hotel or dinner, and that's it. That's my plan. That is my weekend. I have a big gig on Saturday night. I fly back on Sunday at around noon. And then my hellscape starts for May, for the 50 events in May that we have. I'm not going to be good. I know this. Anyway, I will see everybody next week, next Thursday. Have a great weekend. Have great parties. Let me get the stupid sign off. And I will see you next week. So peace out. If I can get to my intro and my timing, I will go. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Talk to you soon.